The Finder 3 comes with a built-in filament runout sensor or detector. It detects at the beginning of a print to make sure that there's filament loaded in the machine. Otherwise, it won't start the print. It also detects if filament runs out. So in other words, if the last piece of filament comes off the roll and the end of the filament passes through the sensor, that will cause the print to pause. For the filament runout sensor to work, you need to make sure that it's enabled, first of all. And to check that, on the main screen, tap Settings and look for Filament Detect. If you see here, I've got a red circle with a line through it. That means that Filament Detect is currently turned off. So if I tap it, now that red circle with a line through it is no longer appearing. That means that the filament sensor is activated. So now we'll back up. I'm going to start a print, but I don't have any filament loaded, and we'll see what happens. Oh, I got a message saying, pausing, please wait. And another message that says, no material detected. Please load material before resuming the print. You can see that would be a nice feature, for instance, if you're sending prints via Wi-Fi to a printer or printers that are in another room. Maybe you forgot to load filament. With the filament detect turned off, the machine won't know any better and will just go ahead and start printing nothing in midair, happily churning away until the print is done. So this can be a nice feature even before you start a print. But let's load the filament and see what happens when we run out of filament. I tap OK, and nothing happens. Both the nozzle and the print bed are cooling down to room temperature. Now I have two options. I could tap the gear icon and use the filament change option. But at this point, I think the easiest thing to do is to just cancel the print. And I'm going to go ahead and load the filament properly. And once it's loaded, I'll start the print in the usual way. And I'll cut the filament in the back of the printer so that the end of the filament will pass through the runout sensor. And we'll see what happens. I've restarted the test print. You can see the model is printing. To test the filament runout sensor, I'm going to go ahead and clip the filament close to the sensor and let the filament pass through and run out. And we'll see what happens. The machine beeped, and the build plate is moving down. On the screen, the message says, pausing, please wait. Now the message says, no material detected. Please load material before resuming the print. So I'll tap OK. And now I'll tap the gear icon, the change filament icon, and you'll see that the nozzle is heating up. Now it says unloading the filament, about 1 minute. And you can see the filament has unloaded. If I pull it out, you'll see the long stringy goo. Normally I would clip this end off and pull the filament out of the back, but since there's no back piece to pull out the rest of the filament from, I'm just going to pull it out forward and discard this loose piece. Since I ran out of filament, theoretically, I'm going to put a new roll of filament on. And load it in the usual way. Okay, there's the end. On the screen it says prepare load. I'll tap OK. Preheat completed. Begin loading. I'll lower the filament down into the extruder until I feel the gears catch hold of it. Then I'll put the guide tube down in there. And on the screen the message says loading, about 1 to 2 minutes. press back when new color appears. I can see the filament is coming out of the nozzle, so I'll press back and resume print. The nozzle moved to the point where it left off when it ran out of filament. The build plate is rising, and then the print just continues where it left off when it ran out of filament. So this is a very handy feature. If you're printing long prints, of course, you're not sure if you'll run out of filament or not, or if you're using rope spools that just have a little bit of filament left, and you're worried about constantly keeping an eye on the print to make sure that it doesn't run out. If a filament run out sensor is activated, then the print will just pause and wait for you to come and add more filament.